The world of luxury full-size SUVs is gonna bring some eye-watering price tags, but it's also where you'll find some of the most impressive vehicles on the market, or at least the most impressive vehicles that sell in any substantial numbers. For decades, almost 10 of them in fact, Mercedes-Benz has been synonymous with quality, not just luxury, but quality. Their vehicles are solidly built. They're often pioneering in terms of their engineering, and they lead the market in terms of materials. Now, for a lot of shoppers and for a long time, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class has been held up as the pinnacle of this Mercedes spirit. But for more shoppers these days, the new pinnacle is this, the Mercedes-Benz GLS SUV. This is the 2024 Mercedes-Benz AMG GLS 63. It will get my neighbor's attention, believe me. Now, if you want to shop for one of these, head over to CarGurus.com. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think in the comments section below. From the grille and the Mercedes emblem to the wheels, talk about larger-than-life dimensions. If you think these are big, they get bigger. These are 22-inch wheels with winter tires on them, but this came from the factory with 23-inch forged monoblock wheels and summer tires. They looked right at home in Bruce Wayne's garage. Overall, it's not the most elegant design, but it's certainly imposing. The GLS looks more rounded than a Range Rover, but it has the same king of the road presence. Our test car is painted this beautiful, stunning emerald green metallic. It has just enough flake in it to really make it shine in the sunlight. Now, from a practical standpoint, we have these helpful running board side steps and a set of roof rails up top. I want to hear what you think about the GLS's design. Is it imposing, impressive, overwhelming? Maybe it needs a little extra definition. Hop down in the comments and let us know. How it looks on the outside may be up for debate, but how it feels on the inside can be summed up in one word: sumptuous. Sitting in a Mercedes-Benz SUV can feel like you're piloting some sort of spaceship. From the big bright touchscreen to all of this excessive ambient lighting and just the futuristic controls, it's an experience that feels catered almost exclusively to the driver. For 2024, we have a couple of new leather upholstery options, including a Catalana beige and this Bahia brown. I think I'm pronouncing both of those correctly. And then this trim material here, there's some new options, including a high gloss brown linden wood. Our car has a natural grain gray oak wood trim. All these materials look and feel incredible, although together, they do give me a little bit of a black shoes and a brown belt vibe. A few details here are specific to Mercedes-Benz. First, if you're trying to adjust your seat, stop pawing around down on the lower side of your seat. The controls are up here on the door where you can see what you're doing like a civilized person. And then there are the wipers. So those are on the left stalk, not the right stalk. The right stalk is actually the electronic gear shift lever. Now, I know all of that stuff sounds a little backwards, a little confusing, but trust me, you will get used to it, and I actually have really come to appreciate this gear shifter. The GLS has a massively functional and unfortunately massively hideous steering wheel. It may not be a looker, but this wheel is chock full of controls. Two touch-sensitive directional controllers manage the driver information display, that's the one on the left, and the center touchscreen, that's the one on the right. And then down below we have these two rotary knobs. Now the one on the left has a couple little flaps on it to allow it to manage all sorts of different things. And the one on the right is the drive mode selector. So we've got Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus. It's not quite an F1 car's yoke steering wheel yet, but I think it's safe to say that your vintage SL250's wooden wheel, well, that is well behind us. Being a three-row luxury crossover, how it feels to sit in the back seat is, well, it's almost as important as how it feels to sit in the front seat. You can get a GLS class with seating for 7 Ours has seating for 6 because we have these 2 captain's chairs in the middle, again, adjustable via the controls on the door. Now, even slid forward a little bit as I am, I still have a good amount of legroom. I've got plenty of headroom, and if I want to squish the person in the back, I can get a truly luxurious amount of legroom. But I'm not going to do that because very shortly, I will be the person in the back. These seats are supportive and they're well cushioned. They're also heated. And here's something I like to see. The latch anchors are obvious and easily accessible. That matters if you have to put a car seat in the car. Behind the third row, there's a decent amount of cargo space, 17.4 cubic feet with all seats in position. Fold it for 42.7 cubic feet or put both rows down for 84.7. You can fold the second row seats flat with this red tab. It takes a little bit of effort, but if you want to roll the seat forward so that you can easily get into the back, well, you can only do that on this side of the car, and it actually takes a really long time. So you see, there is up here on the shoulder this electronic switch. It rolls things forward, but again, this is not happening with any sort of urgency. What makes it worse is when you send it back, it doesn't actually bring it back exactly to the position it was in before. Instead, you have to further adjust it using the stuff on the door. Now I am back here and oh goodness gracious, how do I get that back? Maybe I hit this again. Oh yeah, wait, oh, but I gotta hold it. Well, this bit of the video is taking longer than I thought. Anyways, so it does come back down. It's not exactly in the position it was before, but the good news is, if I get this headrest up here, squeezed into the back, yeah, I'm a 5'11" adult male and I fit back here. Maybe not for, a cross-country road trip, but even, sitting in traffic on the way to the airport, I wouldn't mind being in the third row of, well, isn't that rich? I wouldn't mind being in the third row of a $150,000 SUV. Okay, on to the important stuff. Now, first off, this is not a fuel-efficient vehicle. Even in its most efficient spec, you are looking at 19 mpg in the city, 24 on the highway, 21 combined, and this is not its most efficient spec. The GLS comes in 3 flavors, plus a ludicrously expensive and luxurious Maybach model. At the base, you have the GLS 450, and that has a turbocharged 3-liter inline 6. That's the fuel sipper. Then you have the GLS 580 equipped with a twin turbocharged 4-liter V8, and above that, this one, the GLS 63. It uses a handcrafted version of that twin turbo V8 tuned up to produce an extra 93 horsepower and 89 pound-feet of torque. All of that sounds reasonable until you discover that the total output numbers measure 603 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. So yeah, fuel economy not the priority in this one. We're looking at 14 mpg city, 18 highway, 16 in combined driving. But all that power is being put to good use because this GLS 63 weighs an astonishing 6,000 pounds. It takes quite a bit of engine to get that kind of weight moving. With more than 6 bills on both the horsepower and torque spec sheet, it does the job. 0 to 60 comes in 4.1 seconds, and top speed is 174 miles an hour. I mean, imagine this thing hurtling down the Autobahn at 174 miles an hour. It's absolutely ludicrous. Now, what's interesting is that all of the GLS powertrains are actually mild hybrids. The 48-volt support motor, it handles things like the auto stop-start function, making it almost imperceptible, and that's a good thing because under normal startup, oh, you notice it when this car turns on. Steering is heavy, naturally, but the GLS doesn't feel as big as it looks. It's also incredibly smooth and quiet to drive. The cabin is extremely well insulated from noise, whether that be the wind or the road or engine noise. And the AMG ride control suspension, it smooths out even Boston's worst potholes. That suspension system also helps with cornering, reducing body roll and balancing out the load shift, something that's critical in a car that weighs as much as this one. Mercedes offers an off-road engineering package on the GLS 580 that adds some protection to the underside and boosts the Airmatic suspension for an extra 1.2 inches of ground clearance. We don't have that on this test car, but there is an off-road mode that adds things like an inclinometer to the UI regardless, so I don't think you're going to want to take a vehicle this expensive too far off-road. Notably, it's not as capable as other uber luxurious options like the Mercedes G-Class, but it does have 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Towing, which you might want to do, maxes out at 7,716 pounds. That is a ton. It's actually almost 4. Now, our car isn't fitted with a trailer hitch, but that's just because it's a super early build. The GLS 63, it does come standard with that hitch. The latest generation of Mercedes' MBUX infotainment system offers new designs for the displays. Although there is a trackpad controller between the front seats, the center screen also operates as a touchscreen. Typically, the more features an automaker tries to stuff into its infotainment system, the more frustrating I find it is to use. But that's not really the case with Mercedes. The GLS can do so much. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are wireless, the nav system is accurate and relatively fast, voice commands are outstanding, and the Burmester stereo will knock your socks off. Best of all, despite its gazillion capabilities, the MBUX system is intuitive and it's easy to use. Similarly, the 12.3-inch driver instrument panel is highly customizable with various views based on the car's driving mode or just your preferences. The graphics are crisp and bright, and I'll admit, it's pretty fun getting to set up your GLS just the way you want it to look. Okay. Now the hard part. It's a Mercedes, so we knew the numbers were going to be high, but maybe we didn't know they were going to be this high. $88,150. That's for the base GLS 450. $113,150 for the GLS 580, and the GLS 63, $147,000. Now, that number, all of those numbers, do include the mandatory $1,150 destination fee. But if you thought that's as high as we could go, think again. It's a Mercedes, and that means there are lots of options, and those options cost a lot of money. The monoblock wheels I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, that option is $5,650, and including that option, our as-tested price is $155,800. Whew! As they say, you get what you pay for, and while you are paying an awful lot for this car, I would argue you're getting an awful lot too. But let us know what you think in the comments section below. Given its incredible price tag, does the GLS live up to the financial expectations? As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.